all my girls with me.
Out towards Chloe Rolly, wonderful step from the Scotland international, gliding away, running away, sprinting away, stunning score!
Lewis on the wraparound. This might work out for Thompson. They're going to put a little bit more on it, and then they're over.
Large on the ball, lovely flighted pass, Tatiana Hurd with a straight line, streaking towards the try line in the opening minute. She spills away, dives over the line, wonderful fry from Tatiana Hurd.
Megan Goddard puts the afterburners on. Shannon Harris, 2-on-1 is Lydia Thompson. Oh no, you're not going to catch Lydia Thompson from there. Scott, oh, it's intercepted by Emily Scarrett. They won't catch Emily Scarrett from there. The long legs just eating up the ground. Oh, Chloe Rowley's making her way back, but she won't catch her. Emily Scarrett has been on fire.
Carson again, she's having an absolute stormer of a second half. The Canadian international still going, gets the offload out. Lottie Clark bursts away from the tackles, gives it off. Carson again, looks around the outside, Packer for the hat-trick. What a score from Saracens. What a comeback.
All my girls with me. All my girls with me. Ride with me.
Turnover by Malloy. And McDonald sets off. Claudia McDonald. Mack is back and in fine style. Oh, it's a fine strike. Marston controlling brilliantly. That Bristol pack going forward. It's a penalty try. Oh, now there's a gap. Burgess.
Ride with me. All my girls with me.
Hello and a very good afternoon from Surrey Sports Park on the outskirts of Guildford for this rearranged Allianz Premier 15's round 10 match between Harlequins Women and Wasps Ladies. Quins come into this game in the unfamiliar position of having lost back-to-back matches for the first time ever in the Premier 15s, and with Saracens being awarded a bonus point win for their COVID breaches in the Quins camp, the South West London side find themselves in the unfamiliar position outside the top two. Wasps, though, are flying. They're on a 5-match winning run and sit fourth, just 3 points behind today's hosts and with a game in hand. This should be some fixture, and we're delighted to have your company for it across England Rugby's Facebook and YouTube, as well as Premier15s.com and Premier15's Twitter. But wherever in the world you're watching us, a very warm welcome. Yes, a very warm welcome to Surrey Sports Park for this coverage between Harlequins Women and Wasps Ladies. Alongside me for coverage this afternoon, the Red Roses scrum half and Gloucester Hartbury captain Natasha Hunt. Good afternoon to you, Natasha.
Good afternoon.
Let's have a look at these two teams. Harlequins Women first up, back-to-back defeats for them. A game against Saracens which they've been awarded the defeat because of their COVID breaches, and outside the top two I just mentioned there. This is a very strange position for them to be in for a club so used to winning.
Yeah, it really is. So out of 53 games they've played since the Premier 15s has taken off, they've actually won 46 of them. So to actually be on this losing streak, it's something that many of these players would never have done in their careers. So it's really interesting for me. Is that going to galvanise them as a team? Are they going to come out? Are they going to fix everything that's gone wrong? Or is it actually Wasps, they've got their tail up and they're going to be there for the taking? I'm really looking forward to seeing how this plays out.
And Wasps, 5 games in a row they've won, and Giselle May, as well as sort of a lot of England Rugby 7 stars coming across, people like Harriet Miller-Mills in the pack, they've just, I don't know, there seems to be another edge about them this season. They seem a completely different side where they're sort of around the top 4 and battling for those places, whereas now those 2 extra wins against Saracens and Harlequins, Wasps will be thinking, you know, this top 2 are really up for grabs here.
Yeah, the thing that Wasps have got at the minute is confidence, and a team with confidence is so devastating. Alongside that, they've got sprinkling of stardust across the board. So Megan Jones, 9 games, 76 points, like unbelievable stats that she's coming into this game. And then you've got a pack that basically has international honours across the board. You've got 4 Irish internationals, you've obviously got Harriet Miller-Mills that you mentioned, and equally a lot of under-20 players and players on the radar for England as well. So they really are an informed side at the minute, and equally they're a side that love each other. You can see how much the culture of this squad is pulling together each time they play, and I just think that's fantastic to see.
Let's talk about being at Surrey Sports Park. It's a very open and expansive ground. I think that's a nice way to put it. I'm sure you can see the wind, particularly from my hair, and someone who hasn't had a haircut for 3 months, and the flags you'll see through all the afternoon. It's, well, you played here. You'll know better than me. Just tell us about conditions, what they're like here in this open and expansive field.
Yeah, it's a really difficult place to play. So as we stand coming across the pitch, coming down the pitch, there is a slope. To give a bit of perspective on it, I like to kick a ball, but I'm not that great at kicking a ball. Like, I've got an all right bit of distance. I've kicked the ball here around the 22 and it's gone out dead. So we've been scrummed back on the 22. So it really is a place that's very difficult to manage. You need to get your angles right when you're exiting, and when you're playing uphill into the wind, it's a real tough challenge. So I think we'll definitely see the old cliche of a game of two halves, but it's how both teams manage it. Obviously, you've got Abby Dow and Jess Breach playing fullback respectively for the teams, and both of them are used to being on the wing. So obviously a tactic that they've looked at to get their runners of the ball back there, rather than necessarily people that we know that kick the ball a lot.
More from Mo throughout the afternoon, this Allianz Round 10, Rearranged Round 10 Premier 15's coverage. Let's have a look at the league table as it stands going into this one. So Saracens now, a bit of a lead up top, 7 points from Loughborough Lightning, who of course beat Harlequins in their last outing, 7 points now. Quins there down in third, and Wasps with a win today, you can see that they can go from 4th to 2nd above Loughborough Lightning on points difference. Another game this afternoon, the bottom two, the two Sharks teams in action. DMP Durham Sharks still looking for a first win and their first points of the season. They face Sale Sharks this afternoon. They kick off from 2 o'clock. And let's just have a look at those two fixtures. Remind you of the two games this afternoon, of course, here at Surrey Sports Park. It is Harlequins Women against Wasps FC Ladies, and DMP Durham Sharks taking on Sale Sharks, bringing you regular scores of that game throughout the afternoon. Let's get a word from the two head coaches. First from the Wasps camp, Giselle Mather, and then the Harlequins camp as well, Gerard Mullen. They've been speaking to Claire Thomas.
Giselle, we've only seen Wasps in action once this year. What is it you've been working on behind closed doors?
In fairness to the players, we've been working unbelievably hard. It's been quite challenging, because obviously we've had fixtures but then they've gone down, so we haven't been able to play them. So we have to reassess, keep working on the things that we identified pre-Christmas as to things that would make us a better team, and we've been working really, really hard on them. The players are hugely committed week in, week out, regardless of whether they've got the fixture, but they're obviously very excited to be playing today. And we're hopeful that the things that we have been working on will come out in competition, obviously.
You'll be putting those work-ons into play against a team who've lost back-to-back for the first time ever. How do you approach Harlequins today? Are they vulnerable, or are they a wounded animal and therefore all the more dangerous?
I think it's probably a combination of both, to be fair. It shows vulnerability, which perhaps they haven't had before, and that fuels a belief system of the league, basically, not just my team, clearly, as you can see that Loughborough capitalised on that last week. So it fuels belief, but then a side of their calibre, and they are a very, very good side, will want to put things right and will have worked probably harder this week than they've ever worked in order to make sure that they sort things out. So it's a combination of both, but yes, we've looked at them, but this is about us and how we respond to the challenge that's in front of us.
Harlequins today, Saracens next, then Exeter and Loughborough Lightning in quick succession. Is it important to get a marker out there against these top 5 sides today?
We are aware of what's ahead of us, which, you know, that's really why we do it, I think, to be playing in those kind of games. The players love it. Whether they're ready by the time they reach the 4th one is another question. But you know, we at Wasps work through the whole of our 40 players, and all will probably be involved during these 4 games. And the big thing at the moment is not to look further than this one. We will respond as to whatever we have to respond to from how this unfolds, in order that we are ready to continue. But this is about today, and this is what we've focused on.
We're looking forward to it. Have a good one, Giselle.
Enjoy the game. Take care.
Gerard, back-to-back losses is very unfamiliar territory for a side of Harlequins' calibre, but they were by the slenderest of margins. With that in mind, have there just been small fixes to make in training this week?
Yeah, I think it's important not to try and overcomplicate things or overthink things. We've tried to just get back to basics and kind of, you know, really review where we've gone wrong and where we can sharpen up. And as you said, just a couple of minor things as we keep building.
And the last time these two sides faced one another, it was 2 solo efforts from the Wasps' backs against 5 scores from your forwards. But is it overly simplistic to think of today as pace versus power?
I think Wasps obviously got like plenty threats in their back line. They recruited very strongly, especially from the sevens program. We'll have to be aware of that. We'll have to see how conditions change. It's hard to get a bit more blistery and windy here, but we may need to go to a bit more of a power game, and if so, we back our forwards, of course.
And just finally, you've blooded a lot of new players recently. You've spoken about building strength and character in your squad. Is that with the playoffs in mind? Are you willing to take risks during the season to be in a stronger position come semi-finals?
Yeah, definitely. I think the game you don't want to lose is the final and semi-final, so that's what we're building towards. And if there's a bit of pain in the short term for a long-term game, and that's what we're all about. And we've had a lot of injuries. We've been able to give people opportunity of late, and it's making our squad and our depth stronger for when it really counts come the end of the season.
It's good to hear. Thanks for your time, Gerald.
No worries. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Great to hear from the two head coaches there, Gerard Mullin and Giselle Mather, speaking to Claire Thomas. Still awaiting the two teams here at Surrey Sports Park, so let's get a look at how they will line up this afternoon. Starting with Harlequins, the back-to-back losses as we've been hearing. Gerard Mullin has made 3 changes to his team. Red Roses prop Shauna Brown returns from suspension for a dangerous tackle. Loosehead Hannah Duffy also comes into the opposite side of the scrum. There's also a return for England's Jess Breach in the back 3. She comes into a reshuffle backline. Emily Scott moves from fullback to fly half. Ellie Green shifts outside her to inside centre, whilst at scrum half, Leanne Riley will make her 50th appearance in the quarters. Abby Ward will lead the team in the absence of Rachel Burford. On to Wasps, and the Director of Rugby, Giselle Mather, has made one change that scored 40 points in the win against Worcester in their last outing. This is a Wasps team, of course, on that 5-match winning run. Sadia Kabea comes in at open side flanker, and is the change that rejigs the pack. Harriet Miller-Mills moves from number 8 to the second row, and Claire Malloy shifts from 7 to the back of the scrum. Fly half Meg Jones is the league's top point scorer with 73 so far this season, while England's Abby Dow is their leading try scorer in the black and gold with 7 so far. Here are the replacements for you. Harlequins have a number of youngsters on their bench, including Freya Orkin, who would make her debut for the club at the age of 19. Lucy Packer has 4 tries so far this campaign. Wasps have Abby Burton back from injury. She has to make do, though, for the place on the bench. She was very impressive in their performance against Quins in their opening round defeat. That was because Wasps had a delayed first round fixture. Sarah Mitchelson continues to go strong at the age of 38. She passed 200 appearances for Wasps in December. So Wasp just emerging from Surrey Sports Park here. They will of course come out first. The delayed arrivals of both teams in line with COVID protocols, and Harlequins will join them afterwards. Natasha Hunt alongside for commentary. Is this now part of the norm, Mo? Are you used to this now, this sort of the delay coming out, the differences when you have to sort of, not hug and do the huddles and things?
Yeah, it's so strange because obviously we've been playing against these girls for so many years, and not being able to give them a hug either before or after the game is very bizarre. But equally, you're just itching to take your mask off. I think that's what everyone feels at the minute. So as soon as you come out to warm up and you're able to come out and play the match, that's kind of the benefit of it.
Of course, we'll remind you of the different COVID protocols, the 35-minute halves, and some of the changes to the laws and amendments to get the Allianz Premier 15s on and going. And so far, there's been 1 or 2 games, of course, across the season that have been postponed, but it seems to have been pretty successful. And Wasps just coming out onto the field, led by captain Kate Alder. They'll really fancy the chances, one of the form teams in the Allianz Premier 15s. Could be tricky conditions, I'm sure. You can hear by the wind coming through. We'll keep mentioning it throughout the afternoon, but certainly the team that's attacking from left to right in the first half, their kicking game will be severely affected. On the opposite side, if you get your kicks right, some of those spirals into the corners can really pin a team back, as Harlequins also now making their way out, socially distanced from Wasps. Abby Ward, as I just mentioned there in the team news, she will lead the team today. 2 tries for Abby in the round 2 game against Wasps, but it is Leanne Riley who will lead the team onto the field on her 50th appearance for Quins. Former Richmond scrum half, Red Roses number 9, of course, battling it out with Mo Hunt and Claudia McDonald for Wasps, not available today. That have been a fascinating battle at 9, but Leanne Riley leading the team onto the pitch in acknowledgement of her milestone. Hamish Grant is the referee this afternoon. Two assistants, Neil Sweeney and James Pidding, making their way to the touchlines. I'll tell you about the weather conditions because the two assistants are in their tracky bottoms and long jumpers. Socially distance pre-match routines from the two teams. Final words, final messages. They'll be ready to go here in what is a rearranged round 10 game at Surrey Sports Park between third place Harlequins and fourth place Wasps Ladies. Two teams in their different ways, marking rugby against racism and the Black Lives Matters movement. All teams across the Allianz Premier 15s doing a different job. Just looking to get a referee mic on Hamish Grant so you can hear some of his calls, and so can we throughout the afternoon. Get a bit of the action from in pitch as Ellie Green makes her way to the ball. It will be Quins attacking from left to right from your commentary view here at Surrey Sports Park. So into the wind they will be kicking. Wasps have the advantage of the wind in this first half. Really interesting battle at both 10 and inside centre today. Meg Jones, the Wasps number 10, and Ellie Green lining up at 12 today for Quins.
Going right, okay, thank you.
Two leading point scorers from a kicking perspective in the league. Two of the best in the business as Ellie Green just waits for the referee's call. Off and running at Surrey Sports Park through Green, taken by Amy Wilson-Hardy, and Wasps have possession. This should be a match of the highest quality in the Allianz Premier 15s, and immediately boot to ball from Meg Jones. Difficult one for Jess Breach to deal with, but the fullback this afternoon does well. Step from Green trying to find some space. That's a big tackle. First up from Wasps. We mentioned the defence pre-match, and they have some Thels possession. To the blind side. Malloy wearing number 8 today, the Ireland international. Cabella takes it in. That big hit from her to dislodge the ball. Advantage on the play through Shauna Brown. It's back to Meg Jones, and I think we can see the Wasps kicking strategy already, looking to go deep as Breach takes that one, but the penalty coming early doors.
Brilliant start by Wasps, isn't it? They're showing their hand early. They are not messing around in their own 22, and why would you with this wind? Great exit, brilliant shot by Cabella, as you mentioned. And then what about that rip from Abby Dow? For me, interesting that Jones opted to kick long on that advantage. Would have loved to see a little chip in behind. Obviously, you know that you can always come back to that, so we'll see if that changes throughout the afternoon.
Low and drilled from Jones there. As we heard pre-match from Mo, this can be a wind which, if the ball catches it, can end up dead. So making sure vital. Just outside the 22, so no catch and drive option available to Wasps. First line out of the game, and Cleaner Maloney throws it in off the top. Graham. Jones short to Quansa. Good line off the fly half. Jones looking to work it through the hands. Wilson-Hardy. Bit of space out there, but Wasps just unable to find it. They go again. Jones, clever little kick, looking for the chasers. Here's Williams and Older coming through, but that's just nudged into touch. But you can see the kicking game, and Meg Jones, so many variety of kickers. We've seen the long deep ones. That just a clever little chip.
Yeah, and a lovely option as well, because we know historically Harlequins, they love their line speed, they love getting off the line and making those hits. So early doors, just a couple little dinks in behind, just question how quickly you want to come up as a winger. Brilliant play.
Quins' first line out of the game, successful. Came back round there carrying off the back of it. Taken forward again, this will be the hard yards needed from a Quins point of view. Playing into this wind. There is the kick. Jones back there. Keeps the ball in. Straight down the touchline. We mentioned the possibility of going dead, just not quite getting her bearings right with that one, Meg Jones, and will go all the way back from where she struck the ball.
You can tell, can't you? It's clearly something that they've spoken about pre-match. Play all the rugby in the Harlequins 22, which is exactly what Jones has tried to do, but she just needs to give herself a better angle. That's a really difficult touch-finding kick when you've got about 5 metres to work with. Would have liked to see her open it up, give Abby Dow the ball. She is devastating in open field. I'm sure that's something that they'll discuss.
It's one of the few opportunities as well for scrums to take place across the Allianz Premier 15s. Majority of decisions move to free kicks. So the quick tap and goes from the scrum halves and people looking to exploit pace.
Bind. Set.
Space and pace outside is, I'm sure, something you will see. Good drive by Wasps, forcing Harlequins back. You don't see that too often. It's a really good shove from Wasps, and they have themselves a penalty as well. Excellent work from the Wasps. Delighted with that scrum. And the return of Shauna Brown to that front row. 2 red roses in there, Amy Cockayne and Shauna Brown just marching backwards. Great start from the Wasp pack.
Huge statement of intent, isn't it? And Shauna Brown, we know that she would have wanted to absolutely smash that coming back in from her suspension, as we mentioned, but what a statement of intent from Wasps. They are all over this Harlequins pack in the opening exchanges.
Good kick from Jones this time. 10 or 12 metres out inside the 22, so Wasps have the option of the driving maul. And it goes from Maloney. This time it is Miller Mills the target, and takes it well. Through come the gold shirts of Wasps.
One out, one, you've changed.
Brown just spills away and forced backwards. Wasps still going forward. This is an excellent drive from the Wasp pack, really well set. Not too far away, and they're over the line. The referee has a look, and there is the first try of the game. A wonderfully set driving maul from Wasps. The line out taken well, and they just kept on trudging towards the try line. And Wasps with the first strike of the afternoon. They have the first try.
And what a great try it was. Fair play to Maloney. They've called a back ball, which is obviously much harder to defend for Harlequins because you've got the open side and the blind side option. Brilliant execution at the line out, and then a fantastically timed maul. They're just patient in there. They wait, they get set, and then they go to work. And you see what it means on that wide angle shot. You saw all of the backs for Wasps jumping up in celebration, arms in the air. That is definitely going to grow their confidence moving forward.
It's been all Wasps in the opening 5 and a bit minutes of this game. I think it was Clara Cooney was the one who dotted the ball down there. I'll try and get confirmation for you. First kick of the afternoon for Meg Jones. Goes high with the kick, just unable to direct that one. Such a quandary for the kickers, because as you can hear, I'm sure some of the kicks will be just whisked by the wind as we have another look at this try here. Collapsing over the line. Celebrations really, as you can see, just unmatched throughout the Wasps team then. Delighted with their start. That one not so good from Claire Malloy, knocking the ball on from kickoff. Free kick to them. First time in the Wasps half this for Harlequins. The direct route through Shauna Brown. 2 players on her to bring her down. Here is Ward down the blind side. So Heather Cowell looks to try and go around the outside. Does well initially, but then shoved into touch. That will be
inside. Yeah, we're inside.
Line out to Wasps.
Quins on the line.
Just a bit too easy for Wasps to get possession back there. Obviously, I think a player by Malloy's standard will be really disappointed with that drop ball, but she was kind of looking around to her teammates, trying to say, let me know if that ball's going out. She obviously was in 2 minds whether to catch it or not, but you've got to be stronger off the wing there. Cowell will be disappointed with that one.
The Wasps Twitter has given the try to
Inside.
Liz Craig. We'll go with them for official confirmation.
Thank you.
Kick deep towards Cowell on the halfway line. Immediately puts the ball under her right sleeve and heads towards the chasing Wasps defensive line. Riley to Green as the first receiver. Scott now, that's good hands out to Langi Tuima on the far side. First time we've really seen Quins go to the phases and get some ball in hand. Brown the first option, good little tip off there.
Off feet,
attacking runner. Katie Mew And a penalty coming Quins' way as well. This is just the response that Gerard Mullen's side needed after spending the opening few minutes on the back foot in their own half and conceding the first points. Good couple of phases, and Langi Tuima now on kicking duties, nudge towards the touchline, and that's safe enough. And we'll now see what Quins have got from, you imagine, a driving maul.
Clever play on the floor, wasn't it? Just moving the ball slightly. Thought for all money that Mew had got the turnover there and that the penalty was going to be for holding on, but referee saw it otherwise, and really great opportunity now for Harlequins against the grain to come up with the points.
Ward with the catch in the middle of the line out, and this is well set from Quins as well. Good response from the Quins pack, rolling to the left hand side at the moment, still heading towards the try line. This has got some momentum behind it. Quins sniffing their first points of the afternoon. Referee having a long look as Quins look to go over the line, and the try is scored. Well, inside the opening 2 minutes, the two driving mauls from both teams to devastating effect. Quins have their first points. Wasps unable that time to deal with their power. Scores level here at Surrey Sports Park.
We didn't think we'd see much different, did we, from Quins? Obviously, when they played earlier on in the season, it was 5 tries to the forwards, 3 of which came from driving mauls. So Wasps knew that this was an area that they were going to come and they were going to attack. Just brilliant setup, great drills, something that they do week in, week out. Many of the Quins tries come through their driving maul, and that one no different.
Real feature of that second half at Twyford Avenue in the second round of the Allianz Premier 15. Just the Quins pack took it to another level, and it was the runs of the likes of Shauna Brown, Amy Cockayne, Sarah Beckett, injured today. Wasps were just unable to deal with it, and unable to deal with that maul this time. Green with her first shot at the sticks this afternoon. That one unsuccessful as well. Will be a difficult afternoon from the tee for both kickers, so it remains all square, 5 apiece between Harlequins and Wasps. And another look just at the set positions of the bodies there of the Quins pack. Able to go over.
Wasps, for me, need to keep their heads now. They knew that was an area that was going to be attacked, and that's something they focused on all week. It's not that they failed in stopping that. Harlequins are very, very well drilled, so they just need to ensure that they go back at them and they keep their heads high.
Riley to Brown, a lot of carries so far for the England prop. Riley to Scott, first receiver this time. Flat pass to Langi Tuima this time. Still just inside their own half, Quins. Ward with the tip on the double tackle this time on Brown. Excellent work from the Wasps defence. Driving her backwards, dominating in that tackle. Abby Ward again, but struggling to get past their own 10-metre line at the moment, Quins. Riley to Scott, just adding a bit of pace onto the ball. Another dominant tackle though from Wasp, pushing them backwards. Miller Mills just coming over the top and had to just check for a second. Here is Green. Mew taking it in the red scrum cap. Alder goes low to bring her down. Riley with the kick over the top, bit of space there. That's a clever kick, and it will dribble through to Jones, who turns inside her own 22 and sprints towards the centre of the pitch. We'll try and look for a gap in this Wasp defence. That's not gone well from a Wasp point of view, but it has gone backwards, so play on. Graham digging it out. Here's Cabea, good drive from the open side. Rode the first challenge well. Miller Mills now taking it forward. Here's Abby Dow on to Quansa. This really exciting Wasp back three. As Williams just unhappy with the attentions of Ellie Green there.
Just a beat too slow from Graham to Williams, wasn't it? She was really on. It was massively on down the short side. She read it well, came off her wing all the way round, and unfortunately just that beat too slow, she'd overran it and the ball goes down. But I think it's penalty anyway for offside. Interesting for me though, Jones has had such a strong opening 15 minutes. She had so much opportunity to send that kick back with interest, yet has ran it all the way across, and they were lucky that was the ball gone back from the Williams miscatch rather than going forward. I think just stick to plan. You've got the wind, use it.
Pretty much directly on the halfway line this time for Maloney. Unable to take by Cabello, and that will be a knock-on free kick to Quins. Confirmed on their social media accounts. It was Amy Cockayne that crossed for them. So Liz Craik and Amy Cockayne, the two try scorers, as we sit 5 apiece in the opening 15 minutes at Surrey Sports Park. Advantage on the play here to Quins. Penalty advantage as well coming. Quick tap and go from Leanne Riley. Fired up for this one on her 50th appearance.
Number 4 roll away, straight into the 9's channel, slowed the ball down. Number 4.
I don't know if you could hear that on the ref mic, but Maloney shouting over the far side that we're getting off the line when she's picking. So they feel a bit aggrieved by that penalty, feel like the ball's been lifted, and that's why the Wasps defensive line is approaching. But as long as the referee stays consistent, no issue with that. I like to protect the 9s.
Cockayne just checking the call from the pack. Towards the back, and there's been quite a few throws towards the back of the lines from both sides, and you credit the hookers for backing themselves, but maybe not the day to be trying the middle and back pods. Getting your timings right at the front and getting it set.
I think both of these teams want to release their backs. They've got massive firepower in there, and it's much easier to release the backs coming off the tail because people at the back of the line out are tied into that. So that's the reason that they're trying to go there, but I anticipate that we see the ball going gradually and gradually further forward.
Crouch!
Because maintaining possession ultimately is the most important.
Second scrum of the game then. The first one was certainly a win for the Wasps 8 and the Wasps front row. Here is Malloy, number 8 today. Quick snap there, the ball hooked back quickly to her and off and running. Deeper this time is Abby Dow. Pressure on defence, but for a second she might be lining up the kick, but takes into contact, and good leg drive from the Boston England fullback, but the penalty conceding straight away. And just that early momentum in the 5 minutes, which was all Wasps, all gold shirts, just slightly shifting now, and a few penalty advantages coming Quins' way.
The difference for me was just the speed of the setup to exit. At the moment, Wasps are going through the phases. They're trying to work themselves into a position to kick, and they don't necessarily need to. Just send it straight back. You've got the wind. You'll have so much more distance than what Harlequins can return the ball with. Use it to your advantage.
Kicking exchange there.
Thank you.
Wasps getting out of their own 22. And a chance for this Quins line out to try and secure possession. Cockayne with the ball high above her head. Former Wasp player, of course, Amy Cockayne, moved from Wasps to Quins. Will know a number of these players very well. Slower for Riley there. Big take forward by Alex Eddy.
She's over the knock on.
Hannah Duffy
Tackle,
into contact.
Thank you, good work.
Well, Richmond and Saracens prop applying a trade with Quins. Green, that's a lovely spin, and out to Langi Tuima. Cowell up against Dow, but no room there. Abby Ward, the chop down low.
Wait.
This Wasps defence has been very good so far. Katie Mew in the centre of the pitch. Quicker ball this time. Scott just had to check. Williams coming through. Shauna Brown with the direct route inside the 22. Riley now, that's a loose one on the floor, and Wasps have picked up the ball and have possession. Broken field play, what can they do here? Wilson Hardy fizzes it out to Quonsa. Goes round to Tuima, but Cow does well to hold on and bring her down. See, wind picks up. The sheets covering our commentary position, as I'm sure you can hear. Rattle around a bit. On the pitch, Cabay with the tackle. That's a big hit on her. Jones now with the show and the step. That's wonderful from Meg Jones. Now looking for support. Williams outside her. Here is Karis Williams over the halfway line. Runs into contact, tries to bump one. Alder there in support. Wasps now desperate to try and get the ball back. Just had to check for a second. Miller Mills is the first receiver past the 10-metre line.
Good work. Keep going, Quins. Thank you.
Graham. Still numbers on this left-hand side if Wasps can work it out there, but Malloy into the heavy traffic. And then Quins with the turnover penalty. And what a fantastic break from Meg Jones that was. Just for a second looked to have carved out, but credit the Quins defence for getting back.
Yeah, it was lovely, wasn't it? We all thought that she was going to kick, it's all I keep saying on commentary. And then she just shapes, little dummy, brilliant outside break, gets the fend out, doesn't really need it, and manages to pick up Karis Williams, and brilliant carry by her as well. Really important when you get isolated like that, when there's no one around, that you stay on your feet as long as possible, which is exactly what she did. But again, really good defensive set from Quins. They got back behind the ball really quickly, managed to get pressure on at the breakdown. We've got a proper game on our hands.
Certainly do. 5-5 here at Surrey Sports Park. Top 4 clash in the Allianz Premier 15s. Really, really interesting opening 20 minutes. In difficult conditions, seen some good rugby. That's an excellent throw from Amy Cockayne in difficult conditions. Ward off the top, now looking to work it through the backs as Scott trying to line up the inside runner. Bethany Wilcock just unable to time that set piece move.
For me, that was clearly a pre-call. They had so much width. They'd really sucked in the Wasps defence. I think Amy Wilson-Hardy was the last but one player. She'd come in on board. She'd come in on Emily Scott. If Scott had gone outside rather than inside, I think they had 3-on-1, which I'm sure they would have converted with the strike power they've got out there. Jess Breach and Heather Cowell running down the wing. Oh, opportunity missed for me, that one.
So we're on to the break here for the two teams. There is a break during the 35-minute halves for the two teams. Time to take on some water, socially distance, take a breather.
Who scored the Quins try?
Just try and get as much space between you as possible. I can tell you the weather's warming up because the assistant referees are taking their tracky bottoms off. It is, we'll keep mentioning the weather, not because we're British and like to talk about it, because it is a massive factor in what's going on in the game today.
I'm not sure whether it was they wanted to, or whether the referee assessor has just told them to take it off because he was in that huddle as well. So we'll have to get the scope on that at half time.
Back underway here. 5-5 the score.
Knock on by Quins. Be a free kick.
Knock on from Quins, so the free kick advantage. Sammy Graham, who was part of the Aylesford Bulls, which of course then turned into Harlequins. He's been with Wasps since 2017, the scrum half. The tap from her. She goes short, looking for the run of Maud Muir. Jones. Delicate little kick from Jones, and Williams is after it and takes it. Excellent work from both Jones and Williams. Unfortunately, from a Wasp point of view, dragged into touch, but we're seeing the full repertoire from the Jones right boot this afternoon.
Yeah, it was lovely, wasn't it? Perfectly placed. Leanne Riley just slightly further over, so couldn't get to it without a bounce, and fantastic pickup from Williams. She just didn't have time to be able to get the ball in two hands, get the offload away before Riley had smashed her into touch. Good defensive work, but equally I'm loving the attacking variation, keeping Quins guessing.
See with the assistant's flag there fluttering away. The line out successful from Quins. Mew into contact. Williams trying to get over the ball then. It's a difficult one for Scott to pick up. Did really well, the Quins number 10. Inside to Brown. Here she is again. Flattered to the outside, and Heather Cowell. Quanta comes through on it. Here is Riley now into traffic. So that was Jess Breach, not Leanne Riley there. Too much ball in hand for the England and Quins fullback so far this afternoon. Scott thought about giving the move. There was a hit in the middle.
Not on the ball, not now, not
Scott
now.
had to take it into contact. Shauna Brown again, out to Heather Cal. That's a good pass, just drawing in the defenders. Bit of space for Cal now. It's a good tackle from Graham as well, coming down low and chopping her ankles. Riley with the kick over the top with no one at home. Abby Dow goes back there and over her shoulder. It's an excellent take from the Wasps fullback. Saw her score an excellent try against Worcester from inside her own half last time out, and able to break the first line of defence there. To Jones, it's the end-over-end kick.
Thank you. Thank you. Better vision than I did.
Wind has just died down in the past few seconds, so I'm sure the distance Jones thought she might get on that, not quite coming there. Wasps with the turnover on the play. Wilson Hardy looks outside, Jones into the line. Excellent step, and then gives it off to Caris Williams. Advantage coming Wasps' way as well. What can they make from this? Well, nothing, and they'll have themselves a penalty.
Brilliant strong carry again by Williams on the wing, wasn't it? But you can see how key to Wasps' attack Megan Jones is. Amy Wilson-Hardy is a fantastic runner, ball in hand. As soon as she gets the ball then from turnover, she's just looking for her 10 just to try and get ball in her hand, make something happen for us, which she manages to do. But Wasps on the attack again. They need to come away with points now they're in the 22. They've had a lot of possession, a lot of momentum in the last 10 minutes. Really, really important that they capitalise on that.
League's top point scorer is Meg Jones.
More!
She's orchestrating things
no!
for her side this afternoon. Miller Mills with the take from that line out. Advantage coming Wasps' way. They went for that driving maul again. It was a very similar position from where they scored the first try through Liz Craik. Had themselves another penalty.
First offence.
Unsure why advantage wasn't played then. I'm not sure if Wasps did something illegal to bring it back. But again, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. Straight back to the corner. Another driving maul. I anticipate this going up in the middle. Really good setup, and then let the Wasps forward go to work.
There are 5 targets for Cleena Maloney to aim for, and then one at the back. Here's Miller Mills. That one though not straight, so disappointment from a Wasps point of view. That was an excellent attacking platform, even closer from where they scored that first try. And Liz Craik is the first to the line for Wasps, the try scorer. Wasps have opted for a line. Quins have opted for a line out themselves. Ward in there, just 2 real line-out experts in Abby Ward and Harriet Miller-Mills on show this afternoon. 2 of the best in the business as Cocaine comes round, and then the penalty back Wasps' way. Well, this topsy-turvy game from what looked like a lost position and a wasted penalty advantage when that line-out wasn't straight. They have themselves another one, and this one you'd think easy Meg Jones 3 points from a kicker of her standards, but I think with the wind advantage you have in this first half, you have to try and go for points.
Yeah, absolutely, and also she struck the ball so nicely, that first conversion attempt, and it sailed off to the left-hand side, so I don't blame her. If it's not a sure set 3, they need to capitalise on points. They don't want to give Harlequins an easy exit.
Maloney to the back, and Miller Mills challenged this time. The ball wriggling about and bouncing about. Wasps have themselves possession, dead centre of the pitch, options to the left. Taking it forward is the club captain Older, with the drive. Fizz back, Jones, the pods are set up, driven forward by Maud Muir. Within 5 metres, Wasps have numbers. Miller Mills now, Cabea right on her shoulder trying to take it. Graham thought about the blind side, back inside. Frantic defence at the moment from Harlequins. Wasps digging around for the ball, just unable to bring it out.
If I was Wasps right now, and I know sometimes I shouldn't speak to the referees as much as I do, I would be asking how that is a scrum and not a penalty for not rolling away. I think Abby Ward is the wrong side, and you see that so often get given as not rolling away rather than can't get out of there, so fair play to him for making that decision. But I feel that's a bit hard done by.
Put your pundit's hat on rather than your scrum half hat on. Thank you for that today. Still an excellent position for Wasps. 5 metres away, in between the 5 and the 15. And it goes from Graham. Collapses at the front and now in the middle. We'll reset again.
Again, just remind him that the first scrum that he had, penalty was in our favour. If I was Wasps right now, that's what I'd be saying.
Excuse me, sir, do you remember that first scrum? And we were driving them backwards.
Really important now that Shauna Brown and Amy Cockayne get this pack working.
Crouch.
Resets
Bind.
for this 5 metre scrum.
Set.
Graham is there, ball is loose. Round goes the Wasp number 9. Scott wrapping her up. Ball was available for Wasp. They're just resetting themselves and their platform and their pods. Round the corner, referee has a look, just short. Round we go again from Wasps.
On the line.
All tight at the moment. They're backing their forward play right near the post. Up and over the line. Referee digging around. Celebrations and try is scored. Wasps retake the lead. Well, it was tight. It was frenetic. It was the forwards with the heavy lifting. And it looks as if Maudmuir has scored their second try of the afternoon. And another try with a big thumbs up from the number 3. The young prop celebrating. And it was coming from Wasps. It was so close. But the pressure is told.
Just really good, patient forward play, wasn't it, from Wasps? The setup at the back of the ruck, 3 people in nice and tight, somebody in behind just driving them through, almost like a mini scrum setup. Pull the defenders in and then you just move it from 9 out to first receiver and Maudmuir. Brilliant leg drive, great strength to get the ball down on the floor. A great return for Wasps.
5th try of the season for Maudmuir. Excellent strike rate for a prop. So both props now on the Wasp side going over the whitewash. Liz Craig was confirmed the first one. And now Maudmuir as well as Ellie Green gets us going. Wilson Hardy underneath this one. Good take. Back to Jones with the right boot. And that's an excellent kick from a tight angle. Well, I say excellent kick. I thought she was just inside the 22. I'm going to take that back. She was just outside and we will go all the way back. It was a clean strike and it was a decent angle from Meg Jones' point of view. Just outside.
Tough one that, isn't it? Because they're all trying to do the right things. It's just the ball drops slightly on the angle, and as Jones has kicked through that, it's just come off slightly wrong. The flight's just, instead of landing 2 metres inside, it's just gone 2 metres outside, and an attacking opportunity for Harlequins. This is what coaches kill you for. You've just got yourself up on the scoreboard. You've done absolutely brilliantly to do so, and you're just giving them an attacking opportunity.
That one not quite going Harlequins' way. The pass just unable to be gathered by Amy Cockayne, and now there's a scrap in the middle of the pitch. It bounces back from the Quins' point of view to their own side, but referee Hamish Grant spotting a knock on there. So free kick to Wasps, and a bit of relief, I'm sure, from Meg Jones, just not quite getting the her bearings right on the pitch. Here she is now again, into Miller Mills in the centre of the park. Back inside now, looking for Abby Dow. For such a slight and elusive runner, she's so good in the tackle, Abby Dow, in terms of the strength. Difficult one for Scott to deal with. Have to turn, she's got Breach inside her, who she uses. Just Breach in some open space. The player very familiar with the try line. Standing strike rate, of course, at international level for the Red Roses. Scott Short looking to use the power runners in the middle. Riley, the show and go from the Quins number 9. It's an excellent pop off the floor, and Emily Scott thought she was just away. Just scragged back there by Kira Cooney. Ball is turned over, and now there's some space for Wasps down the blind side. Karis Williams back inside to Wilson Hardy. Malloy.
Such a powerful runner, Malloy.
Cabello. Older into the middle. There's Dow again, taking some crash ball. Switch of play from Graham. Instead of going left, heads to the right. That's the Quins 10 metre line. Big handoff and spin by Maloney. Jones again standing so flat. Good target, and then runners can work off her. Miller-Mills. Just the extra second for Graham. Here is Wilson Hardy. Rides the first tackle, thought about giving it to Quins, and now she does. Here's the big Wasp winger, big handoff from her. Cal Tractor brings her down inside the 22. Graham, she's got Jones to try and use direct option from the Wasp fly half, running into two tacklers. Malloy again. 2 or 3 to bring her down, and they've actually tried to hold the Irish back row forward up. Ellie Green now over the ball. She's done very well there, wearing number 13, lining up at inside centre. Langi Tuima's 12, so these are switch shirts, but excellent work from the Wasps. Number 13 on her back.
Yeah, it was just clever play. There's no way she should get the turnover with the amount of quality forwards around that ball, but she just allowed the tackle to happen, let it ride. Thought the ruck was potentially almost formed, but just got their hands in and over. Great work by her. Let off for Quins. They can breathe again.
Heather Cow just down receiving some treatment, the Harlequins winger at the moment. Back on her feet now. Not sure if you can hear that, but Meg Jones, less than probably 10 metres away from us, accusing the referee of, accusing Harlequins of a bit of time wasting. She's keen to get on because, well, Wasps with the lead, with the wind, with the advantage, a couple of forays into the 22. Could be such a difference maker at half time. Quins getting this win in the second half. You want to be as many points up as possible, give you that cushion.
It's a good point as well, and you heard the double blast of the referee whistle after she'd mentioned it to get time off. It is so important that they use every minute that they have with this win, because they're definitely going to be up against it come second half. And if you're in the Harlequins camp at the minute, you wouldn't be panicking. You know that you've got an advantage. It's at least a 7-point advantage coming out in the second half, in terms of it's that easy to score 7 points, because that's basically what the win's going to give you.
Cockay into the middle. Good arrows and flight, just unable to be taken by Fiona Fletcher. Wasps in possession. Pick round the corner there. There's Edel McMahon, but ball lost on the floor and the tight work from the Wasp forwards, and that will be free kick back to Quins.
It's just great detail from Amy Cockayne, isn't it? She's such a classy player. She was going to floor anyway, and Cockayne's just helped her out, just grabbed her arm a little bit, managed to dislodge the ball. A bit of deja vu here. We see Wasps set up in basically exactly the same position that they were. So,
and the wind, well, from dying down about 5 or 10 minutes ago, has really picked up, and difficult throwing conditions for any hooker in the world. Cleaner Maloney, the Irish international.
I'm happy to be put wrong by any line-out callers, but if you were Abby Ward, would you not come forward and block the front there?
I'm also happy to be proved wrong, but there seems to be a lot of middle and back pods here from the two teams, as Wasps win themselves a penalty turnover. And perhaps in these conditions you think just time the jump right at the front, get possession back, and then you have the ball. But my water bottle loses itself from the commentary table. Notes are going everywhere, but we've got an Allianz Premier 15s game on, and an excellent one at that.
I think on your point at the front, you've got Cabella, who is so quick into the air. Just stack her at the front. I don't think that you're going to get a Harlequins defender up as quickly when you know it's coming. I'm finding this line-out battle really intriguing at the minute.
It is the front pod this time. It's Kira Cooney, the Irish lock, who's taking it. And because it's inside the 22, Wasps are allowed one drive, one big drive that is still going again. The referee said that drive has stopped, and also said that'll be the end of the action in the first half, where Wasps had themselves a 7-point advantage, 12 points to 5. They lead. Tries from the two props, Craik and Muir. separated by an Amy Cockayne driving maul. The wind has been a huge factor. Megan Jones has tried her best to orchestrate things both with the boot and ball in hand for Wasps. They have the advantage at the moment. 12 points to 5. They lead here in the Allianz Premier 15's rearranged round 10 game. Let's have a look at some of the action in that first 35 minutes. Some of the best bits from the game, and this, the Liz Craig try.
Just lovely setup, wasn't it? Everyone on the same page. Body height's really good, nice and low. From a Harlequins perspective, way too high, not enough people in the maul. As the maul's shearing off, you need to get yourself back in there as quickly as possible. And a brilliant finish.
One of the players who features on the My Life series we've been doing across Allianz Premier 15s, talking about her family feel in the club and also working as a dentist around her Wasps commitments. Also says Grandad and family watch every single Allianz Premier 15s stream she's involved in. So hello, Grandad of Liz Craig and family. Watching her score. Also her 5th try of the season. It's again from another angle. Excellent work for the Wasps forwards, who just before that as well had won the first scrum of the game and seemed really on top at the time. But here was the response from Harlequins, and this, if I'm not mistaken, probably one of their only forays into the Wasps 22, but they've come away with some points.
That's how we know they're such a devastating team. They get one opportunity and they really did take it with something we all know is one of their super strengths. Again, similar to the Wasps try, just a really good setup, body heights and the fight and desire to get over the line. You see there Maloney hanging out, you've got to just hit it. If it's walking towards your line like that, you've got to come in, add as much weight as possible and deal with it when they throw it out. But brilliant setup from Harlequins. Great body heights. You see Leanne Riley in the back, I think she's even added her weight to that.
Great work from the Harlequins pack. That's Amy Cockayne's 7th try of the campaign. Really fruitful try scoring campaign for her, and this was Wasps' 2nd. This gives them the lead at half time. Maud Muir celebrations there from Ellel McMahon. Big smiles all round from a Wasps point of view, and this was just, I'd like to say simple rugby, but of course it is very well coached and trained as well, but simple round the corners, pods set, running hard, driving your legs, and it was something that Quins couldn't deal with.
Yeah, absolutely, and knowing Giselle quite well, the coach, I know that this will have been something they focus on and practice an awful lot. When you get in the 22, you've got to come away with points. Just really patient build-up work, and then when they took the opportunity, Maud Muir held her width, Sammy Graham hit her from the base, and brilliant play from them.
So let's have a look at the scores across the Allianz Premier 15s today. So Sale Sharks Women looking for a 2nd victory of the campaign, 21 points to the good at Durham University today. DMP Durham Sharks got a lot of work to get back to do in that 9th v 10th battle. This one is 3rd v 4th. Of course, Wasps against Harlequins. So we're going to have a word with the Harlequins at England back row forward Sarah Beckett in just a second while we get that set up for you. Just a reminder, this year the 150th for the Rugby Football Union. Lots of celebrations and events, of course, across the year. The men's team wearing that heritage kit in the Six Nations game against Scotland. Let's have a look back at some of the outstanding moments across a century and a half from the Rugby Football Union. Some of the best moments there over 150 years of the Rugby Football Union. Further celebrations and events throughout the year. Check out englandrugby.com and some of the social media channels for some of those best bits. Still half time here, still awaiting the return of the two teams. So let's get a word from the Harlequins camp. Unfortunately injured today, but here's the Red Roses and Harlequins back row forward. Sarah Beckett speaking to Claire Thomas.
Sarah, thanks very much for your time. Not the scoreline at half-time you'll have been hoping for, but what did you make of the first half, in particular the way that Quins struck back so quickly?
Yeah, I think it's really pleasing to see that the girls, obviously the Wasps came out firing out the blocks. We saw that in the first encounter with them. They got a couple of tries early on, but it's good that the girls have reacted really quickly. We got down the pitch and hopefully, we levelled up the scores. And then obviously I've seen Wasps have got another, but hopefully we'll be able to counteract that in the second half.
It's died down a little bit, perfectly timed for this interview, but the wind has been a gale. Watching the line-outs, what have you made of the way that that's affected set piece and the way that the teams of the forwards in particular have had to play?
Yeah, it's really difficult. I think we're very lucky to have a hooker and a set piece where we can hit the back of the line-out. The conditions obviously make that a bit harder today, but I don't think that will influence too much our ambition with the line-outs. Obviously if it picks up a little bit we're going to have to bring it a bit shorter, but I think the girls will manage that really well. We got Abby Ward, who's a fantastic line-out caller, so she'll be doing the job there.
Meg Jones has reached into her sizable box of tricks at fly half, playing with the wind at her back for the first half. What can we expect from Emily Scott in the second?
I think they're both 10s that like to bring it to the line and make people play off them, and I think that would be good to see in the second half. Scotty can do that but also kick it down the pitch. We've got multiple kicking options across the back line, with Ellie Green at 12 and Lanky Tuima at 13, so hopefully it'll be good to see a bit more kicking and getting in behind them, play territory.
And speaking of territory, Mo Hunt in commentary reckons that the wind is worth 7 points. Do you agree with that? Do you think this is a gap that can be closed?
Yeah, 100%. I think we've come back from gaps bigger than this before, but Wasps are a really good side, so we're going to have to really front up in the second half, play a little bit more territory, kick in behind, and get our set piece right.
And just finally, although it's quite possible that you'd have been literally blown away, I'm sure you're itching to be out there. When can we hope to see you back on the pitch?
Soon, I hope. Hopefully it won't be too long now. Just rehabbing away and just hopefully I'll be back as soon as possible.
It'll be great to have you back. Thanks for your time, Sarah.
Thank you very much. Perfect. Thank you so much.
With Sarah Beckett pitchside there with Claire Thomas. We see her back on the pitch in the not too distant future, both for Harlequins in England. Of course, the rescheduled Women's Six Nations taking place in April. Keep across England Rugby channels for you. So coming up as well on England Rugby channels, speaking of which, upcoming live streams for you over the next couple of weeks and months. Back at Twyford Avenue to watch Wasps Ladies against Saracens Women. That potentially, of course, a top 2 clash. If Wasps hold on for the victory here, they will move into second. Sarries leading the way in the Allianz Premier 15s. Then we're back here at Surrey Sports Park. But Natasha Hunt's Gloucester Hartbury coming here, so assessing the conditions this afternoon when they come to Harlequins Women. And another top 4 clash potentially as Loughborough face off Wasps, that one in the East Midlands at Loughborough University Stadium. And then what is usually the top 2 clash, and of course the past 2 finals in the Allianz Premier 15s, that one in North London, Saracens Women against Harlequins Women. As we head towards the back end of the season, some of the games in the top half of the table, some of the best matches, highest quality rugby from top flight women's competition in England, the Allianz Premier 15s. Still waiting the 2 teams here at Surrey Sports Park. Either side of either Wasps or Harlequins. I take that back. There is one Shauna Brown coming for Harlequins. And Mo, what do you think the message would be for Gerard Mullin? Because personally I think that Quins never really quite got going as they would have liked in that first 35 minutes, but that was because of how well Wasps were playing. But with the wind, we saw in the first sort of 5 or 10 minutes with Meg Jones, you could see that intent. It was pin them down, get them into the 22. Do you think that's what they're going to be after?
Yeah, absolutely. We saw in the middle of the pitch quite often when Harlequins were trying to attack, the Wasps defence were just stopping them. They were making no ground at all, but without that kicking option is really difficult. This half, I imagine we see similar to what Megan Jones was trying to do, just pinning Wasps down in their own half, make it really difficult to come out. But for me, the key is going to be that kick chase, because we've seen the ball fly, it's flying in all different directions, and when you've got a back 3 that you've got for Wasps, with Abby Dow, Karis Williams, Celia Quins, like, you need to get your kick chase sorted because they can absolutely break through. They can devastate you from anywhere on the pitch. So for me, it's going to be really, really important that they just stay switched on to whatever their game plan is.
So Quins out first for the start of this second half in the Allianz Premier 15s. Shauna Brown leading from the front, taking so much ball in the loose. The Red Roses prop.
I think on Shauna Brown as well, everyone knows that she's a threat, she's a ball carrying threat, but she still consistently manages to make metres every time she carries the ball, and that's huge credit to her and the work that she's put in over the years to be able to continually be that threat, even though every side know that it's coming.
It's worth just reminding ourselves, she's 29, Shauna Brown. She started playing this game at 25, and I'm sure there are lots of stories, and you know of the threw a hammer for England in the Commonwealth Games, had a go at boxing, a gas engineer, a commercial diver. She's a qualified firefighter before becoming a full-time England player. But to be doing what she's doing, having come to rugby so late, is just incredibly impressive, and not just doing it, dominating at it and really being at the fore. And what does she like to tackle, Mo? Because I mean, she as of course, she just seems to, as you mentioned, every single time she seems to make meters.
Yeah, she's just really difficult to get down if you allow her time to get up into full steam. It's really important when you're facing somebody like her, you come off the line, you chop nice and low, and you do it nice and early because you don't want to give her a run up into that. Very powerful.
Now Wasps making their way out of the changing room. Final words being said from Harlequins. Lots of smiles in that camp from a Quins point of view. So in good spirits and ready to take on Wasps in this second half. Probably in good spirits because they know they've got the wind. And the sun is about to break through the clouds as well. So changing conditions here at Surrey Sports Park. Wasps just taking their time to arrive. Spot any changes from the two sides from a first glance. I'll bring you the changes as we go through them in this second half.
Tell you what I'd like to see more of in this half and across the Premier 15s as a whole. Celebrations. Maud Muir, that was just brilliant. I loved that.
If you're not following already, make sure you head to the Prem 15's Instagram, where you can get try clips, highlights throughout the week, and Maud Muir's try celebration has been put up there as well, one for you to enjoy or have a look back at as well once this game is finished. Meg Jones with the ball in two hands, ready to get us going. Quins with the take through Katie Mew. Taken forward by Dayton now, the open side for Quins, Bethan Dayton. Referee just stopping play.
Scrum, hit me.
Scrum to Harlequins. Couldn't see through the pile of bodies in our commentary position there what
Scrum down.
It was for.
Must have been the ball hit him.
Got a scrum anyway. First set piece of the second half here at Surrey Sports Park. Liam Riley on her 50th appearance for Quins. Had the honour of leading the team out at the start of the game onto the pitch.
Set.
The honour of putting the ball in. First scrum of the second half, and again the Wasp pack, well, seem to be getting going, but Quins keen to get going as well. Fiona Fletcher at the back, letting the ball come through, and the kick is given off. Dow with the return to Quins, driven back
More.
there by Alex Eddy. And then the advantage coming Quins' way.
More clearly formed.
And they'll be pleased with the start to this second half. Kate Older just checking the call. We're going to have ourselves another scrum.
Must have been a maul.
There we go.
As Quins ran in there, just held up into the maul and then Harlequins come away with the ball. So important here for Quins though that they get this ball out quickly. They are coming under all sorts of pressure at the scrum. And if that ball didn't fly out of the back and Fee Fletcher deal with it so well, I think that would have been a penalty to Wasps. So really important again that the clean strike gets straight to the back and get it away.
Riley just struggling to get that ball out, and then coming through is Ellel McMahon, the blindside flanker, and Wasps causing all sorts of problems at scrum time. The front row of Craig, Maloney and Muir really taking it to Duffy, Cockayne and Brown. And well, of course, scrums not as much a part of the Allianz Premier 15s this season, but I think whenever they can get them, Wasps will be hoping for a bit of scrum time.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, it's the biggest shame with the rule changes that we don't have scrums, because I just think it plays such an important part. Obviously, we've seen how dominant Wasps have been in that area, and if there had been scrums across the park, I'm sure they would have got a lot more ball back. Equally, the tactical decisions, because obviously that changes the backfield, it changes how many people are up, whereas when you have a line out, you kind of know you're just attacking from one side. I really do miss it.
Maloney on the wraparound, and then the ball over the top to Quins, runs back into where the Quins forwards were based. Jones to Alder, looks for the wraparound, and Jones spots half a gap, runs towards it. Two players to bring down the Wasps number 10. Graham, McMahon back inside to Miller-Mills. Well presented. Cabella, Fletcher trying to wrap the Wasps open side up. Here is Dow. Jones again. Breaks the first tackle, breaks the second one up against Riley. Such a bundle of energy when she's on the ball is Meg Jones. Graham flat. Craig this time into contact. Muir. Alder. Wilson Hardy, well taken by Quins. That was fizzed at her. She's done really well. There's a big handoff. Quins going round the outside up against Jess Breach. Done well, the Quins full back, and then Caris Williams just unable to gather it out the air. Well, credit Jess Breach, because she's probably got a couple of inches in height and a few. Another burst of wind. Maybe take a couple of sets back then, as I was praising Jess Breach for her tackle technique, and Celia Quins stopping her getting away and stopping her getting a clean offload as well. But Wasps still in possession.
Beautiful run by Quins, wasn't it? So powerful. Fended off two defenders round the outside and manages to get the ball free as well. Wasps again on the attack now.
Cabella into contact. Another one of those players that always seems to make metres over the gain line. Taking it forward down this blind side at the moment. A Wasp pick and go through the back of the ruck, looking to try and get over the line. Jones the distributor. Alder steps away from Cockayne. Still going Kate Alder. That's a wonderful leg drive, and what a try from Kate Alder. Well, she made half a yard by stepping away. The try line just seemed to open up for her. Diminutive in stature, but such a big try that for Wasps. Third score for them on the day, and that extends their lead.
That is a huge confidence boost for them as well. First time in the 22 against the wind, coming up with a score. Absolutely Captain Fantastic, isn't she? When you need a spark from Wasps, she always seems to deliver. It was just a beautiful bit of footwork. She fades away from Amy Cockayne, who tries to put pressure on, comes out of the line, gets disconnected from her outside player Ellie Green, and just the footwork to get in between them both, and then the leg drive through 3 tackles. Fantastic finish.
Classy piece of centre work. The Quins defence flying up on Wasps. The elegant step, shifting her body weight, which got her that gap as Jones adds the extras from the simple conversion. But Wasps had themselves a third try and a 17-point lead.
It's brave play from Wasps as well, isn't it? Goes through the hands instead of hitting the forwards, which we see so often. Straight behind them into Megan Jones's hands, who's just making stuff happen time and time again. And as we see there, just the outside break around Amy Cockayne as she flies out the line trying to make a dominant hit. Ellie Green has to come with her there. You're on your own try line. you need to put pressure on.
Kick is deep. Jones, I think she was attempting the low kick there, but that one just slicing off the inside of a boot. No real distance at all, and it is actually inside the Wasps 22. So this attacking advantage for Quins. We said from those kickoffs, when you've got the score, just the key is to just do something positive, not make a mistake, not try and put yourself back on the back foot. But unfortunately for Wasps, they are again.
I know we're always told never let a ball bounce, but I think she could have let that bounce and it probably would have run dead, which would have resulted in a scrum back on the halfway. So one to look at when we're here in 2 weeks' time.
Tactics from the Gloucester Hartbury captain, just assessing the situation as Fletcher took that line out for Quins. Bit of trouble going forward at the moment, and in fact they've lost the ball. Deep in the pocket is Meg Jones.
Not now, three
Says play on, but then the penalty coming Wasps' way. And a quick tap and go from Jones, looking to run it. Here's the third try scorer, Alder. Wilson Hardy just had to check then against the frame of Tuima, and she's beat one, beat two. This is wonderful from Wilson Hardy. Looks to try and step inside. Leanne Riley inside and out she goes. Wonderful bit of footwork, pace and elegance from Wilson Hardy. Numbers on the right here for Wasps, but the carry from Miller Mills. Muir, the second try score. That's an offload for Jones, looking for Williams. She's got Craik on the outside, who she uses now. Craik coming forward, forwards and backs combining for Wasps. Wonderful play from Giselle Mather's side. Jones to Miller Mills again, the little tip off to Maloney. Ball going forward there from the Wasps hooker. What a run that was from Amy Wilson Hardy.
It was beautiful, wasn't it? As she took off and stepped and went back inside, I was thinking, what are you doing? Give Caris Williams the ball outside you. And then she just accelerates through. As you mentioned, 3-4 tackles. Lovely bit of play as well to not let Leanne Riley get a shot on her in the end. Just stepped her inside, outside. Drew in Leanne Riley and Jess Breach, which meant nobody was there to go straight over the ball as she was isolated. Lovely play.
Tuima with the big hoof, difficult one for Dow to deal with. Referee, well, she was standing and facing forward, tried to pull it backwards. It might have ricocheted off the legs as well, but a tactic from Tuima. I don't even think she was even looking for touch then, the Quinn centre. It was just the big hoof.
Yeah, it's a lovely tactic, isn't it? There's no need to play phases. You've got a free kick, step up kickers and send it. Oh, that's a bad miss from Shauna Brown as I'm just commenting on that.
Kick forward now from Claire Malloy, the number 8. Clever kick as well. Jess Breach easily beats her for pace. Keeps going back inside Breach.
Not now!
Quins back in possession and the advantage. Quick tap and go from Leanne Riley, frustrated. That one not on the mark. We'll go back to it now, and it's actually a penalty advantage for Quins.
Yeah, hands in the ruck. What about that from Malloy though? First of all Malloy and then Jess Breach. Such an all-round talented player is Claire Malloy. Absolutely love playing against her. I think she's brilliant to play against, but Jess Breach as well, that little swerve inside outside, carving through the defensive line. So difficult to do at that pace as well, to change direction. Such an elusive runner.
Two of England's regular back three, and Jess Breach and Abby Dow were full back today. Possibly with the thought of the amount of kicking expected with this wind. Not seen too much of them in the loose. Fletcher the target, off the top to Riley. Good pass flat to Scott. Now here come the runners, and Katie Mew, the double tackle on her. Malloy and Cabella round to the blind side. Fletcher now with the carry again, and it's another big tackle. The Wasps defence so well drilled. Going backwards, advantage to Quins here.
Not rolling.
Riley with the quick tap and go, looking to get her team back in this game. That's an excellent dummy from Leanne Riley, heading towards the try line. And then the penalty coming Wasps' way. Meg Jones gets up and celebrates, walks along like... I'm sure if we can try and cut that and turn it into a GIF, the celebration from Meg Jones, non-existent in one way, but also in another, hugely existent.
She's such a character. I absolutely love watching her work. Just bounces around, nodding her head as she's doing it. walks 5 metres away from it just to walk back so that all the girls can pat her on the back and say, well done, mate.
The Vince McMahon, the WWE, what was WWF/WWE, and walking down the line, that was very much, I got Meg Jones vibes there of just the confident stroll of knowing you've done something well and getting the celebrations. Excellent scenes from the Wasps number 10, enjoying herself at the moment as her side lead 19-5, but unable to find the mark there, giving Quins back possession on the edge of their 22. Driven forward by Andrea Stock on for Harlequins' first replacement of the game. Shauna Brown was flying up on her, eager, as we heard at half time. Natasha Hunt saying, you've got to go low, you've got to get that chop tackle in. Quins now going through their phases. Just edging up another couple of notches. Fletcher, time to run well onto that pass from Riley. Scrum half again, Heather Cowell off her wing, looking for some work.
It's just a bit slow for Harlequins at the minute, isn't it? Wasps are able to reset defensively each time.
Just unable to make the breakthrough at the moment. Miller Mills comes through as well, the double tackle.
Good work. Good work, it's your own player's leg.
Again, slow ball. Quins just trying to reset. Not many two options wide.
No left.
No real momentum at the moment.
No, wait! She's got to roll first, you're all right, wait.
8 metres away, Cockayne back inside. A burst of energy there, that was better. Slightly quicker, Scott. Langi Tuima takes it forward. This is better from Quins. Abby Ward now, 2 tries early in the season against Wasps, leading her side today. Pods there and options there.
Thank you, too.
One of those is Rosie Dobson. Coming through again. There are numbers on the right if Quins want to use them, but they keep it tight.
The backs are screaming for it as well.
There's no one on the left for Quins. Everything is to the right, right under the shadow of the post. They go over. The pressure told, well, we said at one point Quins were maybe not getting anywhere, but you have to credit them patient play. And that has got themselves a second try of the afternoon, right under the posts. Right back in this game.
They really are, aren't they? And it was lovely, patient build-up work.
I know what you mean.
Just loved the change of tack from Amy Cockayne as she went to the line, just a little inside ball, which generated that momentum, got them 5 metres from the line. And then they just managed to keep ball, got to the breakdowns quickly, recycled the ball, timed their runs really well. Fletcher on some of her timing of the run, brilliant stuff. And when you've got determination and power and also a weight advantage, it's really difficult to stop that far out from the line. Good finish in the end.
Right between the sticks for Ellie Green, but still going through her routine. The Quins kicker. Up go the yellow flags, and successful kick for her.
Lovely strike, wasn't it? Straight through the ball.
Another look here at the try, and that Quins power. Jones to get Wasps back going. One score between the two sides. Wasps 19, Harlequins 12. I expected a tight game between third and fourth in the league, and we have that as Wasps win turnover possession. And there's the break from McMahon, still going. Here's the blind side, looking for the big handoff inside the 22. Desperate for the ball is Older. Now she gets it, helps it on to Jones. Dummy from Jones, breaks the line. Meg Jones running towards the try line. But the referee gives the penalty for crossing. Well, Meg Jones, such a good break, and looked all for the line like she was going to jog in.
I think that's a really harsh call for me. It didn't look like crossing because it looked like they were on the inside shoulder. That step, dummy and go. Just Megan Jones' acceleration through the contact, that leg drive that we know her so well for. Brilliant bit of play, mixing it up. Also great to see Lucy Nye on the pitch. I think they've just added that little bit of sharpness around the breakdown. Sammy Graham's had a really strong game. But Lucy Nye is somebody that can come off the bench and raise that tempo for you, which is what Wasps need now.
On the corner, yeah, thank you.
Advantage then to Cockayne. Off the top, and here it is for Quins into the centre. Big runners coming through the middle. Riley gives it on, got caught in a bit of traffic there, but helps it on the way. Comes back Quins' way. Mew with the carry this time. In a deeper position is Emily Scott. That is caught the wind and is flying into a deep position. That's a great strike from Emily Scott if it goes the right side of the posts. Well, from our commentary position, it was a 50-50. It was heading towards that back corner. Just from a Quins point of view, that inches whether that's a brilliant kick or one which has just got away.
Yeah, time's off, water break.
Yeah, really unfortunate for Emily Scott there, isn't it? She's just connected with it so well and so close to being an absolutely outstanding kick over Megan Jones's head. But as it is, we'll scrum back. Wasps with the advantage.
Confirm that Amy Cockayne was the second try scorer for Harlequins. 2 for the hooker today. And that will be the midway point of this second half, with just 7 points between these two sides. So finely poised, and we bigged up the game. We expected it to be tight, expected it to be a game of high quality despite the weather conditions, and we've certainly had that so far, with 53 minutes on the board.
Yeah, it's been a brilliant game, hasn't it? Both tactically and with skill level, but for me, the thing that's standing out the most is the defensive effort from both teams. I think the amount of tackles that we've seen with leg drive through and then knocking the attack back, and we know these teams, we know that they've both got unbelievable ball carriers across the board. I think it's credit to the league how far it's come and how great it is to watch now.
And we heard, I remember the pre-match interview in the second round, which was Wasps' first game of the season, from Giselle Mather, saying that she expected it to be tighter this year, that she didn't think that Saracens and Harlequins would run away with it, and it's very much been the case, with Wasps at the moment, as the score stands, heading into second place in the Allianz Premier 15s.
Crouch!
Harlequins are 2-time finalists.
Bind!
Find themselves in fourth.
Set!
Loughborough up in second at the moment. Exeter Chiefs, of course, in the past few weeks, ripples through the top flight, beating both Saracens and Harlequins on their own patch. Huge victories for one of the two new franchises in the league this year.
Massive victories, but also what it's done to the confidence of teams like Wasps, Loughborough, everyone else across the board.
Crouch!
Knowing that the top two that historically have been the top two for so long actually have little chinks in their armour, and that confidence is huge.
Lucy Nye, the replacement scrum half for Wasps, just checking the call.
Great to see Abby Burton back on the pitch as well after that injury layoff.
She had a fantastic debut for Wasps in this reverse fixture. Some huge carries, offloads, as well as Jones again back inside to Abby Dow, racing away. Abby Dow beats one, can't quite beat the second tackler, up to the 22. Nye, short, tipped off to Maud Muir, bouncing against her opposite number, and Shauna Brown. Brown now over the ball, trying to steal the ball for Quins, which she does. credit to Shauna Brown there. Fronted up to the first tackle, completed the second, and then got over the ball. Body position perfect. Wins the turnover penalty.
That's an interesting one for me because Muir, fantastic carry, absolutely bounced Shauna Brown the first time, but it actually helped her out because then on the second tackle somebody else came in, did her job for her, manages to get over the ball. Brilliant turnover in the end, great strong body position, but if Muir had just accepted that first tackle, I'm not sure she would have got the penalty.
13 sub.
Changes coming for Harlequins. Chloe Edwards now on for them. Changing the backline as well, I think. For Quins, we'll bring those two and have had them confirmed. Ellie Green, I think, is making her way off the pitch. On the pitch, Riley to Scott. Heather Cowell was racing away.
All off the feet, play on, off the feet.
Fortunately for her, raced away without the ball. And then the penalty coming Wasps' way. Quins diving over the top. A bit of relief from a Wasps point of view. And with this wind, again, as I'm sure you can hear from our commentary position, it hasn't quite been the pin back effort that we saw with Wasps in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. You can tell just how strong it is that opted for the tap and go rather than kicking for the line and having their own line out.
Cooney with the carry now. Locking in middle. Turnover after turnover penalty at the moment. The ball changing possession almost with every play.
It's killer blows for Wasps as well. They're working so hard to turn the ball over. And for me, just giving it away too cheaply, that's 3 times Shauna Brown's got a turnover in the last 10 minutes. Tighten up around her. Make sure that you're going in with numbers. You know that she wants to get in and jackal. So make sure that when you're carrying in and around her, get people with you. It's exactly the same when you play Malloy for Wasps. She's so good over the ball in the contact. Marley Packer for Saracens. Get people around you.
In the closing stages of this game, though, Wasps on course for second place and course for their first ever victory over Harlequins in the Premier 15s. What have Quins got here? Ward with the take. Cocaine the thrower, becoming the carrier.
Great read from Hannah West there just to shut down the inside option.
Deeper now is Scott. Ward in the loose. Good Wasps defence at the moment there. Holding Quins on their 10-metre line. Riley tried the dummy. Buys a bit of space. Scott. Brown just rides. Maloney sits her down on the floor. Big handoff from the England prop. Ball being held up at the moment.
Tackle!
Whether Mills trying to get in there and rip the ball. Quins with possession. Brown again, the tip off to Chloe Edwards. Good line from the replacement prop. Now they're within striking distance inside the 22. Temporary scrum half is Shauna Brown. Langy to Emer, big dummy from the Quins centre.
From the mark. Just keep it there, please, Neil.
Brown now again, she's just always so busy for ball.
Steal is good, no advantage, back over
Go
here.
back to the far side, referee Hamish Grant spotted something, as well as I think someone's boot is currently on the ground over there.
Gone sideways, no advantage, high tackle.
It's Shauna Brown.
Just slipped up.
Unsurprising. I think that's just the beauty, because you know that she carries so much and she carries so well. Defenders are looking at her, they're really interested in what she's going to do. She's drawing people in, and then it was just a little sleight of hand off to Chloe Edwards for the little line break. Chloe Edwards, I'm not sure how often she's been running in space like that, but brilliant carry from her.
That's what you get with Shauna Brown. If you don't get the metres through the middle, beating tacklers, you then commit tacklers to her, and space is around her, which Chloe Edwards exploited there.
I think if I was a forward on her team, though, I would also want to carry the ball, because that's kind of the fun part.
9, make sure we're 10.
Not sure how many carries anyone else in the team's had. It just seems like we've mentioned Shauna Brown's name an awful lot in this game so far.
Knew the target at the front this time for Harlequins. This the driving maul option for the hosts. Around the corner goes Shauna Brown again. Keep mentioning her name, and they have an advantage coming as well. All Quins at the moment. Looking for this third try. Looking to try and bring themselves level with less than 10 minutes to go. Slow and methodical. Using the forwards, using the big drive, the spin, and there is the try for Harlequins. Wasps unable to deal with that pod of forwards rumbling forward, and they have the third score. I think it looks as if Chloe Edwards is the one that's pirouetted her way through, and with the conversion to come, this could bring Quins level. What an exciting finale we have here in the Allianz Premier 15s.
We really do. It's just great bit of work to spin out of the contact. Amy Cocaine again there in the mix, just backing into the Wasp defenders, not allowing them to get around the ball or to make the hit. Potential obstruction, but who cares? It's a brilliant finish by Chloe Edwards. Great bit of skill to spin out of that and find your way to the try line. As you mentioned, game on. Big kick right now.
First kick of the afternoon from the tee for Langi Tuima. And she has pulled that wide. So Wasps still with the 2-point advantage. Quins knew they'd have to score again to try and secure the win. So we see another look at this try from Harlequins' point of view.
Just great strength from Edwards, isn't it? Use the momentum of getting to the ground to spin and rip out of that tackle. But interesting call for me, Gerard Mullen taking off his kicker, who struck the ball incredibly well all game. How costly could that be?
1917 then, grandstand finish in prospect at Surrey Sports Park. Wasps with the lead, looking for a 6th straight win in the top flight, and looking to head to 2nd place with the first ever win over Harlequins in the Premier 15s. 9 to Hannah West.
No left.
Here's Abby Burton. I haven't seen too much of her so far since coming on. Big crash in the middle there. Ella Mills and Brown coming together. Difficult one to take under pressure for the Quins defence. Flying up at the moment. They'll be up for this.
Great pressure from Cocaine again, isn't it? She's been really influential in quite a few good things that have happened for Quins recently, and as I say that, Malloy's just taken eyes off the ball, gone in for the latch. Advantage Harlequins.
Riley looking around as Miller Mills takes a knee. The referee blowing his whistle, time off.
6.5 to go. Not about right.
Just a chance for a breather as well for some of these players.
Potentially a very important, very timely taking of the knee for Harriet Miller Mills. Just allows Wasps to regroup,
Wasps 14,
get back to system, 14. Find out what's been working for them.
14.
They're in that strange position now as well. They know, of course, if they did hang on to the ball, as much as this ball has been changing possession throughout this game, but if they get to the last 2 or 3 minutes, do you sit there, go through your phases and keep hold of it, or do you play as Meg Jones has trying to been doing all day and keep attacking, keep going and try and push Quins further back into their own half, but knowing that keeping possession will win you the match?
Keep possession. Literally all day, every day. In pods of 6 if you need to, just to make sure that Shauna Brown can't get hands on ball. But yeah, it's a long time to wear the clock down if we're talking about 6 minutes, but if we're talking about 2 minutes, the want and the willingness and the desire of this Wasps team to turn over this Harlequins team, I think they've got it in them.
Time back on, knock on by Wasps.
Time back on for that knock on from Claire Malloy. Free kick to Quins. Riley with the tap. Here is Cocaine. Step inside. Dead straight, hard running. Scott. Giving off to Izzy Mayhew. Here she is again. No look pass there from Emily Scott. Classy bit of play.
Tackle!
Ross holding up at the moment.
Release. Good work, 23, thank you.
Fletcher going to ground.
Lovely defensive work by Katie Mason and Amy Wilson-Hardy there, wasn't it?
Fine. Got to move quicker.
And their team a few seconds. Penalty coming Harlequins' way.
Number 6, not rolling.
Tuima jogging over to the mark.
Over the ball. Number 6 has got a roll to create a fair contest.
She's not even had a look at this for the post, but this is definitely within range. So surprised to see that one get slotted into the corner.
Well, with, as you mentioned, Ellie Green, the regular kicker off. Langi Tuima not successful from the tee on her conversion. Backing the forward pack, and the leaders, the experienced heads, the internationals will all be making the decisions, and Abby Ward checking the line-out call as all the forwards make their way into that front. She is the target. Big right paw from Abby Ward secures her side the ball.
Don't change.
Pretty sure Wasps have got hands on that ball as well. I anticipate this being a turnover at the maul.
Miller Mills right in the centre of that. Her and Abby Ward tussling for the ball. It's going forward at the moment from a Quins point of view, but if that doesn't go to ground, well, Riley has managed to come away with it. Tuima now, older, up on her, didn't beat her for the first tackle and bring her down. Quins still in possession, searching for a fourth try, then the ball is ripped away. Is back in Quins' hands. Offside called this time by the referee.
Number 10's offside, never got back on.
Everyone's looking at Tuima to take the shot, but I'm not sure she's comfortable enough to take the shot. There's a big huddle around her at the minute. She keeps pointing to the line.
There's that leadership group. And Emily Scott in there as well. Of course, a kicker in her own right as well. Accomplished, but we are going to go for posts.
It's not a position you want to be put in as a kicker. If you're not comfortable to take that shot, you're already in your own head. You don't want to be forced by people shouting at you that that's the right decision to do. I hope for her that it goes over. She's a brilliant kicker of the ball. You see it on her Instagram. She loves posting stuff with the school of kicking, but it's a tough place to be when you're saying kick for line, let's go for it.
This then for the game. Langi Tuima lining up this kick. Her second one of the afternoon, the Harlequins centre. Roll up of the socks, and she'll go through her routine. She'll have done this hundreds, thousands of times before. Thought about moments like this to slot a kick to win a game in the closing stages. Langi Tuima with the strike, and she's so happy with it. She runs away and picks up a tee as soon as she strikes the ball, and Harlequins have the lead for the first time in this game with less than 2 minutes to go. Pressure kick, Langi Tuima slots it.
Brilliant kick as well. I was really willing her to kick that one through the sticks after not really wanting to, but obviously her teammates have all the confidence in her to be able to get that over the line. What have Wasps got in them now?
Kick from the restart. Well, that's not the way to do it. Out on the full from a Wasp point of view. They've played so well throughout this game, battled so hard, have had the lead throughout. And now, in these closing stages, they find themselves a point behind. Quins 20, Wasps 19. And I'm not going to get you to pick your Allianz Premier 15's player of the match until full time, Natasha Hunt, because I'm imagining it might sway on the results.
Quite possibly.
We will get that from Mo at full time. And this exciting game comes to a conclusion.
Stability on the mark, wait for that ball, please.
This Wasp pack right now should be lighting up though, because they've managed to turn this Harlequins pack over on so many occasions at scrum time. This is a huge opportunity to go for the penalty.
Set!
Keep them in the game.
What have Wasp pack got? You can see their legs pumping, but it is Fletcher who comes off and round the back with it. Here's Riley, flat, helped on by Breach. Heather Calver, that is a forward pass from Jess Breach. Free kick to Wasp. This could be the final play from a Wasp point of view. They're going to have to go 50 metres and come away with some points in some way or another.
From a Harlequins point of view, just don't give away a penalty. Don't give them easy yards. From a Wasp point of view, get numbers to the breakdown. Keep hold of ball. Keep going through the phases. Don't try and force it. Simple, done well.
Abby Dow there. Jones thought about back inside. Spins away from the first tackle. She's been excellent this afternoon, Megan Jones. Muir. Second try scorer at the moment. And a losing effort for Quins. Alder helps it on to Abby Dow again, bursting through the line. Good work from the Wasp fullback. Haven't seen her maybe at her elusive running best this afternoon, but she's carried really well. That's an excellent offload out the tackle. Quins down that wing. Still going, the Wasp winger pushed out into touch. The referee has a look at his whistle. And our clock has gone over the 70 mark, but we still have some game time left. I'm delighted to say we still have some game time left. Will be a Quins throw to the line out though.
Let's go.
And a chance to set. Big call here.
Let's go, Quins. Let's go.
Abby Ward, captain, line out caller. Quins just need the ball.
As a neutral, I'd love to see Wasps turn it over though.
Is that you being neutral?
Is it not?
We just don't want the game to stop. We want it to carry on. Ward to the front. Fletcher under pressure from Miller Mills in the air. Quins have themselves possession. Shauna Brown trying to rip it back. Quins have themselves a penalty. They've done really well there. Harriet Miller Mills giving it her all in the air as she had to try and compete.
Contact on the arm.
Quins did get themselves the ball, and they also got themselves a penalty. Just had a look at the assistant referee on this near side. He said that is it. The tap from Langi Tuima, the kick into touch, and by the narrowest of margins, Langi Tuima, who kicks that ball into touch. Her closing stages penalty has won the game for Harlequins. They end this back-to-back defeats run. They're back on course, strengthening their position, moving above Loughborough Lightning into second. And well, Gerard Small inside, big sigh of release. Credit to Wasps, they pushed them all the way. Fantastic effort. Imagine they will be in the top 4 playoff semi-final picture when it comes to the end of the season. 3 tries for them. 3 tries for Harlequins, but it is a penalty, the difference between the two sides. Natasha Hunt, your Allianz Premier 15's player of the match, and your thoughts on that game?
Just what a game it was. Just kept changing hands, didn't it? Possession, territory, the ascendancy. I just think Maud Muir was fantastic today, as was Megan Jones, as she always is. Just leads from the front, is that spark of energy for Wasps. Shauna Brown again, another really strong game. Langi Tuima stepping up and hitting that kick. Leanne Riley played well, but for me, Amy Cockayne, just little sparkles of like moments that they needed her to step up. Little details than what she was doing, inside balls, her footwork before contact, hitting her lineouts, getting off and round the back. I just think she was really, really strong, and almost for me the unseen work that a lot of people don't always praise. I think that's why Amy Cockayne is my player of the match.
We'll get a word with Amy Cockayne, the Allianz Premier 15's player of the match post-game. Have a word with Claire Thomas. 2 tries for her today, and another excellent performance around the park. Excellent arrows as well from a line out in really difficult conditions. Let's have a look at some of the action of the game. 6 tries in all. This is the first one from Liz Craig that got us going. And this in the first half where Wasps had the advantage of the win and the huge celebrations. And you can just, I don't know about you, Mo, but I just felt that belief, that first score for Wasps, because they have, as I've just said, lost every single game in the Premier 15s to Harlequins. But this is a team growing. They're on a 5-match winning run, and that really seemed to set them up that first 35 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely did, and being able to convert that score as well within 5 minutes I think was a huge blow. But conversely for me, this is what really got in their heads. They knew that Harlequins were going to come. They had a drive in more. Within 5 minutes of them scoring the first try, they allowed them to get back with the territory, and they knew they were going to come at them straight through the heart of them, and Harlequins managed to score, and Wasps seemed a little bit deflated after that for me. They never got quite back into the stride that they had in those first 5 minutes. From a Harlequins perspective though, brilliant setup, fantastic score.
First of Amy Cockayne's 2 tries running through there. This is the second one from Maud Muir. Excellent work from the 2 try scorers, the 2 props today from Wasps, who enjoyed themselves at scrum time as well. Real forward battle in these windy conditions. And Muir there, and as I said, make sure you head to the Premier 15's social channels, particularly Instagram, for more Muir celebration, one to enjoy. So 12-5 lead for Wasps at the start of the second half, and this, a brilliant bit of class from Kate Alder. That drifting step, just buying her the space, and then it's just all about the commitment, the carry. Great work from the skipper.
Yeah, it was just fantastic, wasn't it? Just faded on the outside of Amy Cocaine, and it was Ellie Green, I thought it was, that stayed back in the line, but actually Leanne Riley just needed to come up with her. You've got to put line speed on in that close to the line, and you've got to go make your hits, and just a brilliant bit of work from Kate Alder.
That was the final scoring from a Wasp point of view from Kate Alder. A couple of big moments in this second half here, with Meg Jones enjoying the turnover there, but this was the second score. Amy Cocaine from close range. All about the Quins' power.
It really is, that Quins' power and the desire, and looking at her now, I'm not sure she scored that with her head. It looks like her head's a little bit red on the forehead, but just a fantastic leg drive through, helped by Jess Breach nonetheless.
So that the forward game, and that was where the third try would come from as well. Chloe Edwards with her first of the afternoon. Cocaine again involved in there, acting as a pivot, a diversion, dragging her over the line, whatever she did.
It's just so clever from Cocaine in this bit of play. She just backs into the defence, doesn't allow them to get anywhere near the ball. I think it's Maloney she kind of takes out, and then fantastic little drop from Edwards. Just manages to spin out of the tackle.
See some of the closing stages play. Abby Dow taking it forward. Before this, from Lange to Ema. She was so confident, as you said. There was a big discussion before this whether she goes for post, she goes towards the sideline, but she went for the stick, she knocks it over, and that's for the Harlequins win. Let's have a word then from our Allianz Premier 15's player of the match. 2 tries this afternoon for the Harlequins and England hooker Amy Cocaine. She's pitch side here at Surrey Sports Park, speaking to Claire Thomas.
Amy, 70 minutes and a brace, but you did just say that was too close for your liking. How much did you enjoy yourself out there today?
Oh yeah, you know, coming off the back of 2 losses, we knew we had to win today. It was a must-win game, and we kind of spoke about in the week as a group, like, we need to stand up now as a group of players and decide how we want the season to kind of go. It was obviously a lot closer than we wanted it to be, but you know, we'll definitely take the win, yeah.
Roles across the pitch were different today given the conditions, but none more so challenging perhaps than yours. How was it throwing darts out there?
Oh yeah, you know, we're at Surrey Sports Park. I think everyone that's ever been here knows it always blows a gale, but it's just really, it's not even a consistent wind. You get like a random gust, hence my one awful, shocking not straight, but I'll take that on the chin, yeah.
I think the rest were pretty good, so I'll let you off. I think for Lange to Ema though, that's probably where the wind was at its most daunting. You were part of that leadership group that persuaded her to kick for the posts rather than to touch. What was that conversation like?
I've got to hand that to Abby Scott, captain today. You know, she instantly said post, and there was quite a few people, probably myself included, that were saying tap or go for the corner. But you know, she stuck to her guns and said no, post. And obviously Lange finished it off and got us the point. So probably big ups to Abby Scott, Ward, I should say, actually, on that one.
And snapping a losing streak that's unprecedented for Harlequins must feel fantastic. But I wonder what you've learnt about yourself in the last few weeks.
You know, I think you learn more when you lose than when you win. We wouldn't obviously like to have lost 2 games on the bounce, but we've got a lot of people that are getting some good game time now, so you know, give them some good exposure to some girls to really put their hands up and show what they can do in a Quins shirt. So to get the win today and to get some more blood and some girls, it's really good.
Well, congratulations to the team and to yourself, Amy, because you are the Allianz Premier 15's player of the match.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time.
Allianz Premier 15's player of the match, Amy Cocaine there. Let's have a look at some of the other scores. Well, the other scores is only one other game today in the Allianz Premier 15s, but it is a big win for Sale Sharks. A second win in the Allianz Premier 15s for them this season. DMP Durham Sharks still looking for their first points of the campaign, so congratulations to Sale Sharks. Big win for them in the bottom 2, moving them closer to Worcester Warriors in 8th place. Reminder of the coming up live streams for you here across England Rugby and Premier 15's channels. Next weekend it is Wasps Ladies against Saracens Women, looking to bounce back from that defeat. I'm sure another high quality clash at Twyford Avenue. Back here at Surrey Sports Park the week after that is Harlequins welcome Natasha Hunt, Gloucester Hartpury Women. Then Loughborough Lightning against Wasps. A couple of weeks after that, another top four potential clash, that one. Then we're in North London as the finalists from the finalists in the past 2 seasons in Saracens and Quins come together at the Stone X Stadium. That's just about it for our coverage this afternoon on this Rearranged Round 10 Allianz Premier 15's live stream. Natasha Hunt, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Hope you enjoyed that.
Absolute pleasure, always. Yeah, what a great game that we were treated to today.
Mind of the score then, the narrowest of margins and win for Harlequins Women, 20 points to 19. They've won here in the Allianz Premier 15s. Thank you for your time, thank you for your coverage. We'll see you again soon.
Rock with me, all my girls with me.
Out towards Chloe Rolly, wonderful step from the Scotland international, gliding away, running away, sprinting away, stunning score!
Lewis on the wraparound. This might work out for Thompson. They're going to put a little bit more on it, and then they're over.
Large on the ball, lovely flighted pass, Tatiana Hurd with a straight line, streaking towards the try line in the opening minute. She spills away, dives over the line, wonderful fly from Tatiana Hurd.
Megan Goddard puts the afterburners on. Shodin Harris, 2-on-1 is Lydia Thompson. Oh no, you're not going to catch Lydia Thompson from there. Scott, oh, it's intercepted by Emily Scarrett. They won't catch Emily Scarrett from there. The long legs just eating up the ground. Oh, Chloe Rowley's making her way back, but she won't catch her. Emily Scarrett has been on fire.
Carson again, she's having an absolute stormer of a second half. The Canadian international still going, gets the offload out. Lottie Clark bursts away from the tackles, gives it off. Carson again, looks around the outside, Packer for the hat-trick. What a score from Saracens. What a comeback.
Rock with me, all my girls with me. Rock with me.
Turnover by Malloy. And McDonald sets off. Claudia McDonald. Mack is back and in fine style. Oh, it's a fine strike. Marston controlling brilliantly. That Bristol pack going forward. It's a penalty try. Oh, now there's a gap. Burgess.
Rock with me, all my girls with me.